Pablo Picasso said, "Every child is born an artist, but the problem is how we remain an artist when we grow up." Theater is a place in which imagination is made manifest. So even if the story in it is fiction, what happens there is in that time and in that space is very real. The impact that theater has on me, for example, is that my creativity and my imagination is constantly solicited on a daily basis, and that's what's great about, like, you know, having this kind of job. Through teaching or through directing, I have to figure out different ways of communicating ideas. Sometimes very abstract ideas, sometimes even complex ones. But there are creative ways to be able to express even the most complex ideas and that means communicating with and transmitting information to other people. An actor's not just an actor, they're also a choreographer, a composer, a writer, a producer, and directing each other in a way, and engaging in collaborative work. So what started as playing in my great-grandaunt's attic led me to actually study theater at the IB level, and there my teacher was a big fan of Peter Brook, so I was introduced to the ensemble concept, and then I did my undergrad and my Masters of Arts in theater. When I got back to Dubai, I think it was in 2010, I started this experimental theater classes and troupe shaping, as I called it, and now several years later, we're actually nearly a functional troupe. I use the term experimental theater, but you know, the way I define that, you know, what is experimental? It has to do with context. What's experimental, you know, over here might be run-of-the-mill in another place. You know, what might be considered rebellious there is actually probably conventional. So I think you have to take into account also your environment, and that kind of theater, something that, you know, say breaks down the fourth wall or doesn't necessarily adhere to pleasing conventions. I think for me that's a more interesting platform for genuine human expression. My little tagline is that acting is not about pretending, it's about convincing. So your job is simply to convince, not to necessarily fake or you know, pull wool over someone's eye. And so when it's genuine, you know, hopefully and you're not constantly seeking for praise, which is something like that can be quite draining. It's not about complacency. It's not about necessarily pleasing. It's about developing a certain discernment of what's an intrinsic value. Now, I believe that ideas come through the body. Sometimes in some of our exercises and games, like object transformation, you find that your hands are coming up with the ideas before your brain does. So our process is, in a way, physical first, it intellectualized after. But it happens sometimes, you know, at the same time, all that merges. You think physically and you stretch, but mentally. when I get into something, and I think, you know, sometimes you hear that of people who write or who compose, like nothing can get in the way, you know? There's no answering a phone, no going to eat, no nothing. You know? You get into what's called the flow. So for me, I don't find that routine is something that I can adhere to. In The Pleasure of the Text, what Roland Barthes is saying, in a way, the question he brings up is, where is the text when a performer is interpreting a role or a character? In a way, he or she is rewriting the text. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. The playing space is everywhere.